Okay. Just Chad's rolling about, well, he said it's going to be about 10 minutes late, so he said do not wait for him. So we'll get started without him. Make this a little bigger. All right. December 5th, isn't it?
Welcome to macOS. VoiceOver. Switching.
Please, Aaron.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
So, okay. So this is Gene. So everyone say hi to Gene.
Hi, Gene.
Gene is up to he's up in the Harrisburg area assisting Mike. Well, I shouldn't say assisting Mike. They're just splitting Mike's properties in half. Gene's really taking Cumberland County, Mike's taking Dauphin County, and they're splitting Harrisburg half and half. So that should be nice for them. And then just so you know, Chris G will be starting. I say G because now we have two Chris's. They'll be starting in York December 15th. So in about 10 days. And Kirsten, in case you didn't know, finally, or not, I shouldn't say finally, she finished her real estate class and passed the class test. So now she is scheduling the state test, which we're all very confident that she'll pass, but we also know that it's tough. So we have a new receptionist. I probably should have put on here. We have a new receptionist, Colleen. She's over there. I can introduce y'all to her later. So she's going to be coming in, basically taking Kirsten's position, but it's a little bit of musical chairs. Katie's coming to the front desk, and then Colleen's going to take Katie's spot. And then Kirsten will be doing Lancaster County property management.
Open seat.
Yeah, have a seat, Chad.
Good morning.
All right, holiday party. Thanks for coming, guys. That was a pretty good turnout, I thought. I had a good time. I hope you did.
It was a lot busier than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It Chad and I were talking. We want to do, well, I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. There was at least part business because some of the owners were there, and you want to make it casual and get to know the owners as people, but at least half the owners wanted to talk shop, and while that has its place, it was good, and I think we should do some stuff where it's just us, and I think that's what we'll try to do here, at least for sure in the spring. So yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for planning it. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Hey, Chad, anything to add?
No, just that if you guys have any ideas of cool team things that you want to do, like you mentioned something.
The escape room.
Escape room.
Yeah, no Spartan runs or anything like that though.
No paintball.
We can do paintball. I'd do that as long as it doesn't require me to run.
That would be great.
That's awesome.
I would pay to see Nate
Paint and
and one
pour.
of those.
I used to run a lot. I just not anymore. Well, run a lot probably isn't quite accurate, but
yeah, but send the ideas our way. I think what we'll try to do is every couple of months do something moving forward.
Mhm.
And we'll try to mix up what day we do it and that way different people can come if it works for different schedules.
All right, here's what I want you to do before you leave. Snow support. We were going through, Chris and Rob and I, and coming up with the properties that we need to do snow removal for. There's not many. There's just a couple. But I would hate to miss one and then have people upset. So I made a row for each of the property managers. Go through your properties and just, if there's any that you know of for sure that we've agreed to do the snow removal, just add it. So Brandon, you see this one, as an example, I know Duke Street is one that we're doing the front sidewalks and the parking spaces in the back.
When we say snow removal, what are we talking about? Are we talking about plowing like driveways or just shoveling sidewalks?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just so you guys know, our standard lease our standard lease says the tenants are responsible for the snow removal. So 90% of these we shouldn't have to do a thing for. But there's, some of the commercial spaces, some of like a 10-unit building where they're all efficiencies. Even though the lease might tell them they're supposed to do it, we may want to just think about whether that's going to work out or not.
Yeah, like 1217 Moss.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one where the tenants are supposed to do it, but and some of them are on their original lease. I'm sure that doesn't require them. So yeah, my hunch would be that each one of you has 2 or 3 properties that probably need something to happen. And if we miss one, it probably won't be the end of the world, and we'll learn. And the next time it snows, we'll do a better job with. And then also any vacant ones. You don't add the vacant ones to this, but just so you know, vacant ones we'll have to get out there and do the snow removal if it's over like 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches. Okay.
If I could picture you with like your big coat and your scarf around.
You should have seen like last winter. I'm telling you, it was the best winter. Hardly any snow, and then all of a sudden we got that like 3-foot storm, and it was
crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't so good. And also, so all you guys know, we do have a snowblower in storage somewhere in each of the major cities, so we can use them. But if it's like a big lot, which we only have a couple, and I've talked to those people already about them, if it's a big lot, we're going to want to sub that out because we don't have trucks with plows on. Okay. Okay, so here is probably the big one for today, and we haven't. I don't know that we finalized an answer for this, but the most important thing that probably the most important thing we do is approve tenants, right? Like if you think about your job as a property manager, that's probably the single most important thing you do, right? Like if you put a good tenant in, the job's easy. You put a bad tenant in, it's miserable for everyone. And there's been 3 weeks in a row we've had some serious issues with tenants that we put in because we either didn't screen them, and it was 3 different property managers who have been here for a while and know what they're doing. And so we're kind of going back to the drawing board as to how can we do a better, more thorough job of screening these tenants. And what we've come up with tentatively is we should get 2 sets of eyes on it, right? Because when you go and do your look for eviction, that search, if the name is Jose Rivera and you do an eviction search, there might be 1,000 Jose Riveras, and you're trying to remember, they're trying to judge whether he was the one that was evicted or not. It could also be, I saw in chat this one, it could be like Steven applied, and then you search Steven, but his name is actually in there as Steve from a previous. So there's you can be doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and still maybe something could slip through the cracks. So we just kind of came to light over the weekend that we need to have a better system. So Aaron and Chad and I are going to kind of think through that, but it's probably going to be you guys getting a second set of eyes, and Aaron looking over some of these.
So is that something that we're just kind of putting a pin in for the moment, or
yeah,
okay.
I'm just
Till
putting
further notice.
putting a bug in your ear that if you have any good insight or places that you've been struggling when you're trying to approve people, come talk to us, and then we can kind of put that into
But
if we get an applicant that has like a credit score over 600, is that still somebody that we want to review? Like if nothing pops up in the judicial search whatsoever, they've got a good credit score, they provide their pay stub verification. I mean,
and that's what Aaron
Yeah.
suggested. Like, hey, look, if they have a credit score over a certain amount and everything else checks out, you guys go ahead and do it. But anything under a certain amount, we need to get approval. And that's how we should be doing now. Anything under 600, you're supposed to be getting an approval. There's some of the property managers that have been here over a year that I've kind of said, look, we trust you to make the decisions on by yourself. And I'm, in retrospect, that might not have been a good thing to do, because, and this is not a reflection of that I don't think they're doing a good job. I'd make the same mistakes if I was approving people all the time. I mean, it's easy to miss something. So yeah.
Let's do this for now until we kind of can brainstorm a better system. If something seems fishy, something seems like it's a little off, or like you're missing something, get a second set of eyes before approving. And I mean, you guys pretty much what those ones are, the ones that.
Yeah, and I don't want to roll something out today without really thinking it through, and then come back 2 weeks later and change it all. So let's just realize that that's the most important thing you do, is putting in good tenants. And I mean, if you put in a bad tenant, it's only going to make your life bad. So we should all be like on the same page, or working together on the same team here. So yeah, expect next meeting me to have something more formal for that. Maintenance update. I feel like we're getting the property management thing under control, or not under control, but I feel like we have good checks and balances, maybe with the exception of the application approvals. But one thing that I think we can do a lot better job on is some of our maintenance systems. So Chad and I are going to be spending a lot of time in the next 60 days putting some procedures in place to make that a little smoother. The only thing I need you guys to do to help with that, and I've kind of pointed this out the last couple of times, is just the more detail you can put in the work orders, the better. As a request from Chris and Rob, they say if you can get pictures, that's really helpful. So if you can encourage your tenants to include a picture when they submit a work order, that'd be great. Pictures don't replace a description, though. You need a description and then a picture to support it, because sometimes if you just have a picture, some of our maintenance guys might not pull up the picture when they're at the job. Okay, a couple other things, and then we'll get into the eviction stuff. And these are points of emphasis, but I'll just go through them pretty quickly here. Move outs. You're doing a good job of, as soon as someone tells you they're moving out, that you're recording it in AppFolio. Keep doing that. The only thing I would just point out is if they're moving out in 30 days, we should be posting it for rent. So put in that they're moving out and then post it for rent, unless there's some weird scenario that we need to put $5,000 of work in before, after the tenant moves in or moves out. Applications, I was talking to Caitlin on Friday, and it made me think to put this in here. We approved the first qualified application. So we're not sitting on 5 of them and then picking the best of the 5. The first one that comes in that's qualified, that meets our standards, is who we should pick, mainly for a discrimination point. We can't just pick the one that we like the best. We talked about this last time. The 3 reports that you should really look at every day is your vacancy report, your maintenance report, and your delinquency reports. If you look at those 3 things on a daily basis, you're going to be doing a good job of being a property manager. Right? So we should really, like delinquencies, I should be able to mention a certain tenant to you, and you should know when they've made their last payment and where they're at, if they're late on their rent. Maintenance, you should know your maintenance work orders that are open. And then vacancies, you should just have a good feel for, I should be able to ask you what your vacancies are, and you should be able to list them all to me. I mean, there's times when you may have 20, and that might be a little unrealistic. You can skip over the payment plans. That was just in there from last meeting. Lock boxes and keys. Our maintenance guys are now drilling them out if they go to fix something and can't get in, and putting a new set on. All you need to know is if you get a frantic call from a tenant that says my locks have been changed, let them know there'll be a lockbox on there with a new set of keys for them. The combination is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there'll be two keys in there for them. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often though. Utilities, we're in the process of putting all the utilities in our name across the board and getting landlord-tenant agreements. So if the utilities get shut off, they'll automatically revert into our name. Every company has their own little procedure. It's taking a little longer than we thought. All right.